Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can generate and edit images using Gemini Nano Banana, or perhaps the pro version of that model in Open WebUI. And there are some benefits of using a cloud-based model in this local AI tool. One example, or perhaps one immediate benefit that I could think of, is the lack of watermark in the picture. So normally when you create a picture in the Gemini app, it will automatically add this tiny watermark into the picture. But if you're using Open WebUI, you're creating a picture in this manner, there is going to be no watermark in that picture, and that will be quite enticing for some situations. So let me show you how you can set up everything until you can generate a picture using the Gemini models in Open WebUI. So first, you have to open WebUI on your computer. I'm going to open that on my browser. And after that, we have to set up the settings that will allow Open WebUI to use Gemini to create images. So I'm going to navigate to menu and then click admin panel, go to settings, and after that you can navigate to images, and here you have to turn on image generation. Okay, so there are a few things that we need to enter into these fields. So right here for the model, you have to enter, sorry about that. I think we have to switch image generation engine from OpenAI to Gemini. And you can also do the same thing for the image editing feature. So I'm going to enable that, and I'm going to switch from OpenAI to Gemini. So that is very important. Okay, so here, basically for the image model, you have to enter either Gemini 2.5/image. This is for Gemini Nano Banana, not the Pro version. But if you want to use the Pro version, then you can use Gemini 3 Pro image preview. And by the way, all the details here will be available in the description down below. For this example, I'm going to use the 2.5/image, which is the regular Nano Banana. You can use the Pro version, but during my testing, I wasn't able to use the Gemini 3 model in Open WebUI for some reason, and apparently there is a high demand, so that's the reason. But usually it should be fine. Now, anyway, I'll select Gemini Nano Banana. I'm going to copy this. Oh, sorry about that. Copy, and let me just put that right here. Okay, so for the image size, now in this case, given that I'm using Gemini 2.5/image, usually it doesn't really care about the image size or aspect ratio, so I'll just enter 512 by 512, but you know what, it's not going to change anything for some reason when I'm using this model. So after that, you can enter Gemini. Okay, this is the setting, and then for the API base URL, you can enter this URL. Again, the detail will be available in the description down below. Let me just copy it, and I'm going to paste that right here. Now, I guess before we enter the API key, I think we can do the same thing for the image editing field. So for the model, again, I'll just use Gemini 2.5/image. And then for the image size, I'm going to enter the same thing, 512 by 512. The image edit engine is Gemini, and the base URL is this one, the same. Okay, and by the way, don't forget to set the endpoint to be generate content. That's very important. Okay, now we need to acquire the API key that we can use for Gemini. And to get that, you can navigate to aistudio.google.com, and you can log in with your Google account. And you can basically create a project, and you might want to set up your billing, and you can use the API key via AI Studio. And by the way, if you subscribe to the Google AI Pro or maybe the Google AI Ultra Plan subscription, you can actually claim free API keys between $10 all the way to $100 every month. And you can use the API key to generate content using models like Gemini, using Veo, etc. So it's actually a good deal, and I have made a video on how you can claim if you have the subscription on Google. Again, if you don't have one, then you have to add the credits manually. Anyway, here in Google AI Studio, you can navigate to Get API Key. And I guess I'm going to start a new project, and I'm going to show you how you can acquire an API key. So I'm going to click Create API Key, and I'm going to call this one, let's say, for Gemini, or maybe for Open WebUI. And I guess I'm going to start a new project. Let's call this one project 5, create project, and just wait for it. It might take quite a while. Okay, so a new project has been created and I'm going to click create key. Just wait. So usually it's going to be a free API key. You have to set up billing first. You have to pair it with your billing account, so it's becoming tier 1 or tier 2 depending on your billing. And after that, you can use the API key in Open WebUI. Now I'm going to click setup billing and just wait for it. Now I heard that you can actually use the free tier to generate content, but as far as I know, the content might be used by Google for its training. So that's one caveat if you're using the free version. Okay, so I'll select my billing, finish setup, and just wait for it. And after that, we can get the API key and we can put that into Open WebUI. Okay, I'm going to close this. So this is the API key. I'm going to click this copy button. And let me just go back to Open WebUI. Let me just put that right here in the API section. And there you go, click save. And we're done with the image setting, but we're not done yet because you still need an AI model, a large language model to chat, to talk with the AI tool. So you can navigate to connections and then, well, you can pair a local model, but you can also pair a cloud-based model. Yes, you can actually use Gemini if you want to. If you want to use Gemini, you can click this plus button, add connection. And then for the API-based URL, well, you know what? I'm going to enter the API key first. It is the same API key. And for the API-based URL, you can insert this one. So this is a bit different. And there you go. Oh, sorry about that. Save. Okay, Open AI API settings updated, but this is actually Gemini. It's just using the same connection, the same setting as OpenAI. Okay, so here I'm going to navigate to the home page to start a new chat. And again, you can use either a local model, but you can also use a, let's say, the Gemini model. So as you can see, I have access to the Gemini models, but again, I'll just use a local model, which in this case, I'm going to be using the Qwen 3 with 1.7 billion parameters. And well, we can start generating images using the Gemini Nano Banana Pro model or the regular version in Open WebUI. So let's say I'm going to create a picture using this prompt. This is a very long prompt. Click this and then click image and just send the message. So I'm using Qwen, but again, you can use any model. This model is running locally via LLM Studio, and I actually have made a video on how you can connect LLM Studio to be used in Open WebUI because it is a bit different than Ollama, for example. Okay, so I got this picture. Nice. Now, I want to modify the picture. I'm going to tell AI to change the color of the couch to red. Okay, send a message. And despite my setting using 512 pixel as the aspect ratio, as the size of the image, this image is actually 1024. So it is not really honoring the setting. So that's one caveat when you're using the regular Nano Banana. And okay, I'm still waiting for it to generate the version that has been modified. Okay, there you go. So this is the same picture, but the color of the couch is now different. Now, earlier, I mentioned that I cannot use the Gemini 3 Pro model to generate images because apparently there is a high demand, but I'm not sure if that's really the case because I saw some forum people complaining about this problem when they're using the Gemini 3 model. So let me just give you one example. So let's say if I'm going to use Gemini 3 Pro model, and you'll see it's not able to actually create a picture. So I'll replace the model with Gemini 3. Everything else is the same. Save. And when I'm trying to create a picture, let's say I will use the same prompt again. You'll see that it is not able to generate a picture. It will throw me an error message, or it will take like forever to just do something to create a picture, and eventually it just throw me an error message, and there you go. So an error occurred while generating an image. So this is why I cannot use the Pro version, which is unfortunate, but I'm hoping that this is just a temporary problem, and perhaps in the future you can just use the image model in Open WebUI without any problem. But other than that, that's basically how you can set up the Gemini model to be used as an image generation model in Open WebUI. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Have a great day.